And you want to bring that microphone way closer to you, so it's like right.
Ooh, that's a bad noise. I apologize
and
for
then,
that.
Like way in front of your face.
Oh, we got to
so
bring
you're
this
talking
really in. Okay.
Into it.
Oh, I got to scoot now too.
Yeah,
this is
you
a
can
lot.
you can pull it forward too.
Yeah, it's probably a smart way to do it.
Yeah.
But I'm have some issues with that at times. So.
Okay. And now you're still in frame on the camera?
Yeah, I'm still good. I hope so. We'll find out in post. Is post? Is there post or no
There's
post?
post.
Oh, we got post. We're good then.
But this banter
we'll catch
fun.
it there.
I'll probably keep it in. I don't
You
know.
will? Good.
Yeah,
Good.
Fun.
Exuberance really is just something that I think, you really need that zest for life, zest for anything you're applying yourself to, right? You got to come at it with a sense of joy, a sense of purpose. And I think having that is just infectious with others. One of my favorite reality TV shows that I watch is Survivor. And one of the people that got eliminated this last season, spoilers, I won't use names, but he got eliminated.
Survivor's still going?
Yeah. I want to be on Survivor, all right? Even though I have zero practical life skills that would help. Like there was a scene this season where someone was trying to start a fire and just not doing well. That would be me, but I think it'd be entertaining TV. Anyway, tangent. So we're going to probably go on a few tangents here today, but that's okay. But he said as he lost, right? He got voted off, and he's like, hey, he's got to find the joy. Find the joy, whatever that is for you. Have that be your purpose, have that be your guiding light. And I think that's important, being exuberant, having that infectious energy. And I think that really helps guide what I do day in, day out. So, yeah, that's my word. How about you?
Do you ever not have exuberance?
Oh, gosh. There are very few and far between moments. Usually it's like a late Sunday evening type thing where I think I've ran the battery down completely. That is when you'll see I'm just like, oh gosh, like low energy, low everything. But it's a few and far between prospect, which my wife can attest to and probably sometimes not appreciative of because I am just go, go, go. I wake up, bolt out of bed and then until about, 10:30 at night.
It's just a fundamental personality characteristic for you?
Yeah. And I don't really, very rare exceptions do I use caffeine. So like I don't like do energy drinks very often. So like it's just unadulterated me. Which, again, I don't know how that reflects on me.
You're just born this way.
I guess so. I think it's my mother. So, hi, Mom. Thank you for the energy. She just celebrated her 70th birthday last week. I just age dropped her. I'm so sorry, Mom. We'll cut this in post. She's 60. She's not 70.
How old are you?
I'm 39. I had to think about it. 39.
So we're similar in age. Yeah. Our parents are getting up there. Yeah, so I suppose the 70's not so... She's only 31 years older than you. And she still has exuberance.
Yeah. Oh, she was at Zumba last week. So she's going to be here. We have an event going on later today in West Fargo. She's going to be there. At least she said. Now I'm putting public pressure on her. I fear peer pressure is a really good thing to help get people to commit to what they've said they're going to do. So, Mom, we'll see you later tonight. If not, we'll have other discussions. But yeah, no, I think I get it from her. But, I take it a little bit from my dad as well. But, yeah, just something that I have, I feel I've had for a long time. Although people tell me I have mellowed out in recent years.
This is the mellow version of you.
Mellower.
Yeah.
So there must have been a version that was...
All that exuberance, is there a downside to it? I mean, do you say only Sunday evening?
That's usually...
Like, is there not a crash state for you?
That is the crash state. When I'm like, all of a sudden, just like, everything just drops and I'm just like couch rotting and I'm like, do I have the energy to get up and do this? And then usually I'll like go to bed at like 7 on a Sunday and I'll be like, okay, I got a good use about 6.5 days out of the week. But other than that, it can come off as intense at times. You know what I mean? Like if you're not ready for it at 8 in the morning and I'm jumping on, like, You're
an intense guy.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's important to have that, level of intensity, to have that level of just commitment to whatever you're doing, right? Whether it's day-to-day stuff, Zumba, just interacting. I like to be tuned in with whatever I'm doing. I don't like to be distracted by something going on like, I'm going to check in my phone. No, I want to be locked in, give someone my full attention so I can dedicate my full energy to that.
So welcome to the show where we explore the who, what, when, how, and why of the extraordinary people who define our North of Normal metro. I'm Conrad Fargo. This is the Fargo Five, and we have returning champion Derek Ystebo. Your third time, and I kind of have a rule against no repeat guests, but I make an exception for you.
You've broken it twice for
I've
me,
broken
so
it
I think
twice.
that speaks to our connection. So that's a positive thing.
Well, and we've had a format change. So the show used to be 5 segments, right? And it was, what was it? It was famous, fun, favorites, something. There was like 5. There was
very
5
alliterative.
Fresh,
though.
Yeah. And it was more of a local events, current events kind of a thing. The show has since kind of transformed as I kept doing it. I realized kind of everybody has a story, and I wanted to focus in on that Fargo famous section, right? And so with you, each time you came on, I didn't feel really like I got a good bite at that on your background. You know what I mean? On telling the story, like your life story, like how it is that you came to be such an exuberant individual, how, you know, your whole background.
I was a quiet kid, apparently, for like 4 or 5 years.
And so then
it just switched.
Like a light switch overnight.
I think it's because I'm competitive.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. This is how I remember it. This could be 100% incorrect, but I feel elementary school, I was very quiet. Like I just do what the teacher said, get everything done, and then had the same 6th grade teacher as my brother did, and my brother apparently was a handful with that person. And he's like, he's not going to be like your older brother, is he? And I'm like, well, this seems like a contest, so I need to do better than him by being a worse student. So I came out of my shell at that point, and then apparently never went back in, just came out and was very, very energetic from that point forward. And then, you know, I think it helped too that I've always been surrounded by people that have been like, yeah, this energy's good, right? It has been like, tone it down. Well, I mean, in certain situations, like tone it down. You don't need to be at a 12 right now, you know? But for the most part, just being surrounded by just positive reinforcement, I think, has helped to say, hey, keep that going. Keep that youthful vigor going and just, you know, spread that light as much as you can. So, but yeah, there was a brief moment I wasn't always exuberant. For the most part, though, this has been me, although apparently to a steadily declining degree.
Well, I think we'll get into all of that. We've got, and what I kept finding is that like the full hour just isn't enough when we start peeling back the onions and getting episodic. Where I like to open up with is just to kind of understand where you're at today. So right now you're doing Zumba. How many Zumba classes are you teaching?
I do 2 a week currently.
Yeah.
Both at the YMCA, one at their Schlossman location, and then one downtown here at Fargo. So that's there. And then I'm usually there 6 days a week. Not always doing Zumba classes, but trying to do something to keep my body active. I'm someone that when I get up in the morning, like I need something to get going, channel some of that energy positively.
And previously, you had been working at NDSU as an adjunct professor.
Yeah, so I was teaching there for I can't remember the exact number of years. I'm for being someone that did history for so long. Apparently, I'm bad at like time as a concept.
Okay.
Like when I looked at the calendar, and I'm like, is it August next week? That seems like incorrect. Yeah. But yeah, teaching has always been something that's been a passion of mine. I love sharing knowledge, and I think having energy has always been like one of my faculty that I worked with alongside with, he had said, like, hey, when you're instructing, when you're teaching someone, you need to be above where they're at energy-wise, right? If you're at a 10, doesn't matter. Like your audience might be coming in at a 3 or 4. You're not going to get your audience up to a 10. You might get them up to a 6. But if you come in at a 6 and they're at a 4, they're probably going to stay at a 4, right? You gotta kind of pull them from the pull them up as best you can.
And so when you're teaching, I mean, are you having this same level of exuberance? The same?
Oh,
we're going to use that word a lot today.
We're going to use exuberance a lot. All right, it's going to be used too much, maybe, but that's okay. I love to do that. I have bits. I don't know bits. I start doing things just for effect sometimes. So using a certain word. The one that really got people recently, I started counting in kind of the European method where you use your thumb as the number 1.
Yeah.
So much so. I was recently at Disney World, and they're saying, hey, how many people are in your party? And I said 3, but I held up 3 with my thumb as part of that. And they said, are you European? And I'm like, no, just that's how I...
Well, that's part of... I think we all learned that from Inglorious Bees. We're on the radio. We
won't say it, but check it out. Great movie.
Yeah, where he gave away the fact that he was an American because he held it up without the thumb.
Without the thumb, yes. So great scene. Check it out.
Now that's a meme for anybody who's giving away that they're not what they claim to be.
Exactly. Got to be on top of that.
Not what they claim to be. And so... So what happened with the adjunct professorship?
So, I mean, there's a lot of shifts there. I mean, I think if you've looked at higher education as a whole, it's going through some fundamental shifts, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, a lot of colleges, you know, closing up shop if they're a smaller, like D2, D3 type thing, because, again, the pool of students coming there. So, I mean, it's budgetary, right? Stuff like that happens. They only have so much of the pie to give around. So, you know, eventually, you know, you're in a position where it's like, okay, here's what your options are, and what do you do next? What do you pivot to next? And, you know, I you know, is a setback, yes, but at the same time, it's something that I think you attack with, well, what is that next chapter? And thankfully, through those academic circles, you know, I've had conversations with people at conferences and whatnot, and they've said, hey, what have you pivoted to, right? Because they've been through similar type things. Where it's like, hey, your funding's running out on X, so like we can guarantee you through X semester, but after such point, you might have to find other outside sources. So talking with people, they said, hey, take the skills you have, which are pretty varied, right? I mean, teaching, researching, stuff like that, being an effective communicator, I think are widely sought skills, and they really help set you apart in whatever field you're in. So right now I'm in banking. So I think I had shared with you last time we spoke. We actually had a little bit of a crossover in our lives.
That's right.
Yes.
I totally disconnected. The last time I met you, you were at U.S. Bank.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. I totally blanked that out. See?
And I think we had talked about, it's like, hey, at the time, because it's since shifted then, but at the time I was assisting with a program where they help Japanese nationals.
Yes, it's all coming back.
See, now I've kicked off that memory in your mind.
We had talked all that, and I totally. It's funny how how they live in your mind, and they stake out that. Well, I teach history at NDSU,
right?
And then
and then it's just there forever, right? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I'm with you. It's sometimes. It's funny. It's one of those things where I know some people, but then I'm like, what do they do for their job, though? You know what I mean? You ever have that thought? I'm like, I know they've said it, but I can't visualize it or I can't conceptualize it.
When I think it's under, this whole life thing. Life is so weird.
It's fun, though.
It's vague.
It's
We're
very
stuck behind
fun,
the
though.
eyeballs. And how we live our life is one thing, and then how we live inside of other people. Because there's you behind the eyeballs, then there's the version of you that lives in other people's heads.
Yeah.
And it's different.
It is.
Yeah.
Hopefully I'm more positive than negative. No guarantees on that. It just depends on how it can be. Like, there's probably some days where people are like, oh my gosh, Derek, tone it down. You're a little too much right now. And other people's like, this is what I needed, right? Because sometimes you're having a rough day and positive energy can be good to have.
So refresh me a little bit more on what's going on at U.S. Bank. So what position do you have there?
So I oversee or part of a department. So I have a few teams under me.
Yeah.
And we kind of coordinate stuff from a fraud perspective. So that's where I'm at now.
Yeah.
That's a more recent change, end of last year. So,
yeah.
So it's fun.
Yeah.
It's good. It's good work, and it keeps me just really
keeps you busy,
engaged. I love the communication element of it. Like, I love, it's like, hey, let's talk this through. Let's talk it out. Let's map it out, kind of like I'd map out a lesson plan or map out a agenda for a project or whatever it might be. I mean, it's just, to me, that's where it's the most fun, because I love learning, right? So coming in with zero banking experience prior to that, and now acquiring it throughout, it's been amazing, right? It's kind of been like, ooh, I'm learning something new. Kind of like when you take electives in college, you'd be like, you know what, I'm never going to actually explore this, but I'd really like to understand film at the early 20th century. Right? I took a class like that when I was at the University of Minnesota. I'm like, I will never apply this knowledge, but very fascinating, right? So that's how I look at it. Okay, what's new? What can keep me engaged? What can keep me just pushing forward? And it's such a changing environment in the role I'm in, so that's fantastic. Again, I'm someone that always seeks something novel, something new. So if I ever feel like I'm in a rut, I feel like I'm going in the wrong direction. I haven't felt that, so that's a positive, right? So,
well, with all the energy you have, you don't want to get stuck. So, tell me more a little bit what it. U.S. Bank employs a lot of people.
They do. I think 77,000 plus, probably something like that.
In Fargo here?
No. Third of the population.
No, but it's a large building out there.
It is. I don't think it's fully leveraged currently. I think since COVID, they've had some
moving to a lot of remote.
Exactly.
So when you go in there, because when you walk in, and I've had you come down, it's all.
Oh yeah, we did. Yeah.
Like I give you the pie.
You gave me the pie.
I give away pies a couple times a year. And so, like, you got to be called down. When you go up and go back there, what is it like? Like, is it just like a giant, as far as the eye can see, cubicles, phone bank kind of a thing?
Yeah, just cubicles.
Just what you can imagine?
Yeah, just what you think of in terms of a traditional...
I can't imagine you...
I bop around. Don't worry.
Yeah.
I'm not... There are some people, like when I see them on video calls, I'll see myself on their camera background, and I'm just like, okay, do I know everybody on that call? Yes. Okay, I can act a little absurd, do like the fake going down the stairs, stop motion thing, or going down an elevator looking at your watch type thing. But
well, I mean, so part of the show is me just kind of genuinely reconciling my life against others. I mean, like there, but for the grace of God, or there if I had, I would be going here, I would be going there. Mm-hmm. And so I always like to, and you were the one who has to come on here, right?
I did.
Like,
I think it's been a while. I was like, you know what? I feel things have changed. I've had a lot of life changes. Let's go on the show.
Yeah. And so, like, I really like to break down the life, because I like to imagine, like, what if my life was different? Because my life is crazy. Like we said, I do all these different things. I'm always trying to imagine, like, what if I did this business? What if I did that business? What if I had a job? I have a lot of energy, nowhere near as much as you.
Got a good amount.
But I can't sit still.
No, that's why you see me going back and forth. I'm not a sit still person. Never have been. I'm like a shark. I have to keep moving. If I stop moving,
I mean, I can imagine
sign.
a cubicles would just drive you.
Oh no,
up the wall.
I shift.
Because you don't say sitting down.
No, well, I can. Depends. Sometimes motion creates emotion. I think, you know what I mean? Like, you got to do a little of something. If you get into a static position, yeah.
You working there full time, though? Is it full time?
Full time.
And you're in the one place all day long. Like, that's,
well, I mean,
to me, that's the most alien thing is I'm never any one place unless it's at home. Like, unless I'm at home in my underwear, I'm any one place for more than an hour.
Yeah.
Like, you get there in the morning, you're there all day long.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, the course of my day is like I'll start at home, right? Be in the office, end at the gym, then come back home. So it's usually like if you look at my Google Map history, it's like a big circle that's just happening over and over again.
But you're putting in 40 hours a week,
just getting it out there, yeah.
And it's mostly on the phone.
Well, I mean, over internet teams, stuff like that, a lot of teams meetings and stuff like that. So I'm not customer facing in any way, so it's all kind of back office stuff. So that's kind of nice.
And so you're like rah-rahing other people to be customer. You're not customer facing. You're internal. So you're internal, leading the team. And how do they react to all this energy?
Depends on. I try to avoid early morning meetings just to specifically say, hey, you know what? Let's give you time to adapt. Like if you ever see an 8 a.m. meeting for me, it's like I hope you're ready because it comes off as a lot, right? So I think good. I don't know. You know, it's one of those things. It's similar to education, right? Like I always say, like sometimes you get like responses from students. It's like, or are they giving you that because you controlled their grades, right? You know what I mean? Like if you run into a student after the fact and they say, oh, yeah, this is this, I'm like, oh, okay, I can't change your transcript anymore. So you think thumbs up, right? So then I'm like, okay, they actually did like me. So, I mean, there's always that, you know, anytime there's a power dynamic in place, it's like how much of it is instilled by the power dynamic versus how much is authentic. You never know, but I stay optimistic. I stay like, hey, these are the you know, people are being their true selves as much as possible. So I take it positively. So, but yeah,
I know you more as the Zumba guy.
Yeah,
I think that's your outward facing, and I would like to talk maybe a little bit more about what it's like to be a Zumba instructor. How many years have you been?
I am in the midst of my 13th year instructing.
So and you said you only do the 2 classes a week now?
2, yes, just 2, but you can see me in a lot of other classes throughout the week or doing events and stuff like that. But I think that's a good balance. I'm not going too into it because for a while, pre-COVID, I had 4 classes a week. Tuesday was my only off day. I went Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, every week for I don't know how many years, just 4 times. I think like 4 years I was doing that, 4 times a week for 4 years. So, and so 2 is a good balance.
So people who aren't familiar with Zumba or even group fitness classes, like what is that like? Like what I can paint the picture, of course, because I've been a million times, but
yeah, you're a good participant there. So yeah, it's a dance fitness format that was started in 2001. And it came out of a dance fitness aerobics instructor that one time during class forgot their like actual music. He's like, well, I'll just use my local music. He's from Colombia. So he's like, I'll use my music there. They really loved it. And from there, it's evolved, right? I think if you looked at it early on, it was Latin-only music. Like, what's in the Latin music? But they've expanded. So kind of an aside, I'm sorry, I do this all the time. Last summer, I had the chance to go to their first ZinCon, which is like their national convention where people from all around the world come together and they do like sessions. You can like go through advanced trainings. You can take in these like very high level instructors and see the choreography they prepare. Like these are people that prepare choreography. And I will tell you what, going there was such an amazing thing to see because there were so many styles. There was like an 80s, 90s rock, which you wouldn't associate with Zumba, right?
Yeah.
There was Greek. There's a Greek Nights, Mykonos Nights. So you could take in Greek music. I went to a K-pop one, loved it. It was phenomenal. One of my favorite ones to go to. This was right when like K-pop Demon Hunters was coming out too, so like people were really jumping on that music. But it's really global. It's not just, hey, you're going to get Latin music. I mean, they have like core rhythms and stuff like that that's the base of what they do. But like if you looked at their roster of things they had last year, oh my gosh, there was multiple sessions, multiple different formats, multiple different musical styles. It really incorporates everything. And that's what I love about it. It's kind of free format, right? There isn't like, here's your set songs for the month. You do get that, but then you're also encouraged to like, hey, listen to music. Does this fit in with what we're trying to do? And incorporate what works for you. So what you might get from me might be completely different from what you get from another instructor. So you can kind of, pick and choose. Like, okay, I like this. I like this style. I like this style of music. I like these style of movements. Really, it just depends on what your preference is, right? Whereas, some formats, if it's the same across the board and you don't like it, you might go, oh gosh, I'm not going to do this for a couple weeks now if this is what it is, right? Just kind of nature of things. But I think giving choice is good and allows the instructors to kind of reflect who they are in their music. So you get like a lot of very high energy, a lot of high BPMs, a lot of jumping with me, although my jumps are getting a little smaller over time. My way of knowing how I'm doing with my aging in the group fitness industry is at one of the studios, there's a ceiling that for a long time I could always, if I really tried, I could jump and touch the top of the ceiling. It's a little few and farther between now, but I'm still touching the ceiling, right? A lot of times I'm getting maybe an inch or two away from it, but I'm like, okay, I'm still there. There's still enough lift.
From getting old, or is that...
I don't know. I'm going to say I'm forever young, so that might not be true, but that's like my benchmark of like, okay, do I still have a little hops left in me?
Is Zumba the only group fitness class you do?
Previously, I did help out with like some core classes, so working ab stuff. That's also one of my favorite classes to go to. I think it's really essential because obviously the core controls everything you're doing, right? If you don't have a sturdy core, everything else, it'll be unstable and not healthy for you there. So that's another one of my favorite classes to do, just really engage those muscle groups, which are very fundamental. I remember I went away from it for like a year and I had these just small muscle groups that were just really sore. I'm like, what the heck? Why are these not... Like, why are this sore? Why do I have to care for this? And I'm like, oh, because I haven't done this class in a while. I haven't engaged those muscle groups, kind of forgot about them. And that's not what I want to do. So incorporating that back has been big for me in terms of keeping everything balanced.
So I want to go back to, just in case anybody is unfamiliar with like what a group fitness class is. You walk in, it's like a large room. One person, the teacher, that's you, is up front. They do all the moves. You got to watch out there. They do all the moves, and it's kind of just like follow the leader, right? And so what is it about Zumba that sets it aside from like just jazzercise or line dancing or anything? Like there is something different about it. There's a similar... what's the other one that is also similar, but it's not Zumba?
Yeah, and hopefully I didn't break this.
Nope,
I knew I was going to do this as soon as I walked in. I'm like, I'm a very animated person, so I'm like, I'm going to do this at some point. I probably just need to go hands behind the back and do that. I really think what happens is with this class and why it's so impactful is that, again, you find what your members like and you kind of cater to that, right? If you do a song and everyone just stares at you like that was not fun, or you can tell that, you're like, okay, I'm not going to do that song again, right? And you kind of cater to that. And I think it's just very high energy, right? You bring like a party-like atmosphere. Like I'll go back to that Zumba convention. I don't know if this is all the time, but like the creator, his class, like he had like smoke machines going off, and I'm like, oh my goodness. And I've seen videos of him at his home gym in Miami. He does the same thing. Now, we don't do smoke machines. If we had the budget for it, I'd fight for it because that sounds really awesome. And it's just, again, the atmosphere is just so positive. It's uplifting. Like I always say, like sometimes I go to the class, I might not be in the best headspace. Like maybe it's been a stressful day, maybe I'm a little tired, whatever it might be. But usually after class, I feel a lot better. Like stress is lifted from my shoulders. I'm in a better mood. So it's a really good mood enhancer. It's pretty efficient at getting you a very good workout. So that's also a pretty big positive to be able to say, I got a workout. I feel better about myself. Positive atmosphere. And again, it's kind of catering to what you want out of the class.
How long have you been doing Zumba yourself? As an instructor and just as a participant?
Instructor going on my 13th year.
13 years.
But as a participant, maybe 15?
Yeah.
It was early in the 2010s.
So you got into instruction almost right away.
Yeah, within about a year or two after, And I always joke, like, I don't know if I was good until maybe the last 2 years. And it's always going to be the last 2 years. So you could ask this question 10 years from now. I was like, I got good in the last 2 years because I feel you should always be striving to do better, right? Iron sharpens iron. So you got to find someone that's really, really good at it, whether you go to a convention and see all these like international instructors. During COVID, I think, Conrad, there was one instructor you really liked out of Europe that you said you would watch his videos.
Yeah.
I tried my best to find and get a selfie with him.
Yeah.
And I was...
You weren't able to meet... But he would have been at that thing.
He was, because I was... It's going to make me sound very stalkerish, but follow him on Instagram. I see his stories on Instagram, and I'm like, oh, he's in the same building as me. But again, there's 8, 9, I don't know how many thousand people at this conference. So like finding one person's a little difficult, right?
Yeah.
But I tried. That would have been my crowning achievement for you. Now, obviously, you probably have a different crowning achievement, but to me, that would have felt like I hit the apex of making Conrad proud of me. I found the guy, because he's also someone that I've been very inspired by, because like I watch how he moves some of his choreographies. I'm like, wow, this is just like great. This is amazing stuff. Like, this is the kind of stuff I like, I get excited about, and I wanted to see him. I did see one of the people I follow on YouTube on there. At first, I passed him. I'm like, I think that's him. And then I later saw a video. I'm like, it was him. Just didn't have to. Didn't introduce myself. Although I did casually just shake the creator of Zumba's hands like very early on in the convention. He just walked out. I'm like, hi, nice to meet you. And he's like, oh, how you having fun? I'm like, yep, having fun. And then like a swarm of people just like came around him when they realized he was just out in the field.
And so what does it take to become an instructor? And do you get credit? Do you have to recertify, or what? I mean, where does the pool of instructors come from? Because there's not many of them.
There's a good amount.
You, Cassie, who else is at the Y?
We've got at the Y, yes. The Y, I think we have 5 currently.
Yeah.
But I mean, across the FM area, I think it's a little more robust. But yeah, so what you do, they've expanded offerings. It used to be like a site had to host a training. So you'd have to show up at a training on a Saturday, 8 a.m. to about 4:30 p.m. And you just go through. They teach you basic rhythms. They teach you a couple choreographies. So you had a base to start with, right? Because you have nothing to teach.
And how many people are you training with when you go to do that?
I want to say there's like 12 with me.
Wow.
But now you can do it virtually, right? You can do a virtual training and say, hey, we've built these sessions where we go over exactly what we've done in a live environment, except, hey, do it on your own, right? And then make sure you do the necessary steps afterwards, right? So which I think is good, right? Makes it so you don't have to wait, especially in, we're a smaller metropolitan area. We're not a big city that might have it very frequently. So it gives you an opportunity to take advantage of that. So you go through that, you get certified. At that point, as long as you're, making sure there's nothing you're doing against Zumba rules, right? If you're calling it Zumba and you're doing something completely different, and someone's like, hey, Derek's teaching a class on Thursday, doesn't seem like Zumba, or you just stop paying your dues or whatnot. You kind of go through that, but you got to get through that first initial training, and you can add on as well, right? They start with 4 basic rhythms. I think they go up to like 12, and they have like specialty things. Like
when you say rhythms, like what do you mean? Like songs?
No, like salsa, merengue, cumbia, reggaeton. Like there's these different dance styles that they'll teach you like the basic steps of. They're not going to get into super depth, so you're not going to look like you're on Dancing with the Stars, right? But enough that you feel pretty confident with certain steps. So
they like train you on there's some kind of a base template.
Yes, absolutely, yeah. And what I found out from the Zumba convention, some people were very, very well, like they would document the moves. Like you would see like, okay, from 10 seconds to 45 seconds, here's the move. The problem I had is they would have these like figures. I'm like, but that's not what the move looks like. Yeah. I have to visualize what this is happening. So while this is an arm movement, you can't really illustrate that.
But how many songs? I mean, because when we come in there, it's just like a different set. Do they give you an app or something to work off of, or you're just like using YouTube Music or something?
So I use YouTube Music. They have built-in crossover with Apple Music. Like it's just connected easy. But I use YouTube Music. You can do the same things there. You just download the music from the Zumba app, and then you can just use the upload feature on YouTube Music, which allows you to take any song.
How many songs do you have in your head? I mean, I don't know how you keep them all straight.
Oh, goodness gracious. I did 2024, I think I went through every song that I'd ever done.
Yeah.
And at the time, it was like mid-400s.
Yeah.
Now, if you ask me that now, I'm probably not mid-400s. Like some of those I did and go, oh, yeah, I retired this for a reason. But probably in my lifetime, I've learned somewhere in the low 500s.
How do you keep them in your head? I mean,
I've always been a good, like, I see things and I remember it, right? So I think that's like when I was a student, same type thing. Like I'd look at it and go, okay, it's in my head. Usually the biggest thing isn't the moves. It's actually just remembering the song, like the order of chorus, verse, bridge, making sure I'm in there.
Do you think that's common? Do the other instructors have so many songs?
I don't know. I know they have people got a good amount, right? There's one year I made a goal, like I'm going to learn a new song every week. And it was tough. There were some weeks I'm like, oh, I don't know if this is going to be good, but it's here. And people, they grinned and bared it sometimes. And I'm like, all right, that was a one and done. We'll move on next week, see what happens there. But other times, it went pretty well.
And when you're learning a different song, how is it that you go about Like, is it, again, what kind of support does Zumba give you versus you're just like watching Davidas and copying his moves?
So on about a monthly basis, they release a whole set of songs, usually like 12, 14 songs, and they have 2 choreographies for each. So you have, right off the gate, you can go, okay, this month, 12 new songs came out, 2 different choreography versions. Do I like any of them, yes or no? You can mix and match. You can go, oh, I like what they do on this one, and I like what they do on the other one here, so you can make that work. Or you can go to YouTube. There's a lot of Zumba instructors out there that have their own YouTube pages where they'll say, here's my choreography.
Wow.
You know, feel free to use it. And again, you gravitate towards people that you're like, wow, they're really, really good. They understand. One of the first people I actually followed on YouTube, he doesn't post on YouTube anymore because he's like employed directly through Zumba, but I took his like big class at the Zumba convention. I'm just like, oh my gosh, this guy's just going. Like I thought like you'd see like a 3-minute video, like, okay, how do you keep that up over the course of an hour-long class? No, he just whole time, and I'm like, and it just looks so smooth and it is effortless the way he was cueing and keeping the energy up, and I'm like, I can still push it further.
Yeah,
there's definitely levels
to
for it. So it was one of those humbling moments where like, okay, there's still many things to keep pushing for and striving for.
And so in a normal week, it's not just showing up and teaching the class. You have to be, are you practicing at this? I mean, at this level or in the beginning?
Oh, the beginning, I was very much like, I need to like practice. So I would get in there and I would practice, make sure I knew. Now I kind of know how my body operates. Just depends on the day. And I visualize it like, okay, here's how I would do that. Really, the thing I probably practice the most is cueing, instructing what's coming next, how to let people know what move is coming next. That's the biggest thing. Like, okay, how would I cue this versus can my body do this little salsa shake? You know, okay, I think it can. It's done it, 80 times before this week. But can I cue this so someone looking at it the first time can understand what they need to do? And that's really my job, is to take something that might be, scary or new to them, not new to someone that's been doing it, but making so it's palatable. You know what I mean? Like it's, what'd it say? A spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down, right? So trying to give them that energy.
Well, and you said that, so you're down to teaching only 2 classes a week now, but then you're attending 2 or 3 others.
Yes.
Are you the only instructor who's doing that much? I mean, are other people attending?
Yeah, I mean,
other people's?
You'll see people going around other classes, not just Zumba class. You may just go to another fitness class just to support the broader fitness community. But I always say the biggest thing I get out about going to other areas is seeing how they teach, right? And you get really inspired by the way some people instruct their class, build energy. And that's why I say, like, when I say like I've only been good the last 2 years, it's because I keep picking up things people have been doing in classes. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's a really cool way to do that. Or, ooh, yeah, I wouldn't think about including a move like that. But it works, right? So at any time you do that, I think it's just a great opportunity to.
But you're only going to ones at the Y, or you're all over town?
I was at Family Wellness last weekend, and I was like, oh gosh, I loved it. I'll go to Crunch Fitness. You tell me, like, I love just taking in new experiences. That's again exuberance, right? I want to see something new, novel, because again, my mind gets into a certain style. Like, I'm always going to do this music, and I'm like, I got the coolest music, I got the coolest moves, and then I go to someone else's class, I'm like, how did you discover this song? It's so amazing. And like, how did you come to this choreography? Because it's so fun. Like, I have just great times watching some things. And again, it would never, because it's the spectrum of what you can pull music from is so wide, right? So like, I might be very focused. Right now, I'm very Caribbean focused. Like, that music, I love it. I've been doing a lot of that in the last year. But other people are like, let's look at this part of the globe and pull in some inspiration there. So yeah, but I'm all around. I'm just searching for novel things, keep my brain sharp, and get inspired to do better, what I can do to take it to that next level.
And so again, like, the point of the show, or what I like to try to do, is what would it be like to live in this person's shoes? Like, if I wanted to be Derek, you know what I mean? Like,
it's
what would it be like
some,
following that? Well, I mean, so you've got a regular full-time job, and that's one thing, and jobs aren't so exciting to talk about, but the Zumba aspect of it, I feel like, is the bulk of everything else you do. I mean, besides work and Zumba, what's the number 3
thing?
Time sink in your life.
Again, novel experiences. So I love going about this town, finding new things to do. I'm actually very shocked at how much I got into bingo in the last couple of years. Like, you wouldn't think bingo, like you told high school Derek, oh, bingo's amazing. I get too into it to the point, I know it's random. There's no skill involved, but I will get...
I can't imagine you sitting still and hitting the daubers.
Well, here's the thing. If you have enough cards, you're constantly daubing. you think you're making progress, but you're not. So sometimes I'll have like 12 cards out there. And
there's not a limit on how many cards? Or how does bingo work?
So it depends on where they do it. Usually they give you a booklet, and they can have anywhere from 1 to 3 cards on a booklet. And I'll usually start with 2, and then as I lose, I'll get a third. And if I lose more, I'll get a fourth. You know what I mean? So at the end, I'm like, I'm going to win, right? The odds are in my favor, even though they are 100% not in my favor. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
It doesn't change anything on my end. It just changes how well you're going to be able to hear yourself.
I know. I got to keep my arms. I'm going to keep them like this. No, it's a little weird. But yeah, like stuff like that. Like, oh, that's really cool. Like, I wouldn't have thought that maybe 5-6 years ago. Hey, go do bingo as often as you can. But it's awesome. One of the other things that I really, really love, they don't come around as much as I'd like. Have you had one of the people from Below Zero Wrestling on?
Nick Stokey is a very good friend of mine.
Okay.
He's the owner and operator.
Love local wrestling. Yeah. Love it. One of my friends, shout out Kara, goes by the name Free Range Kara, phenomenal wrestler based out of St. Paul. But that's how I got hooked into the local scene. She was performing here when she was at NDSU. She's now in the Twin Cities, so she works at a few companies out of there. But it is so fun. And I've brought so many people to that have this like, is this going to be, like, what am I about to experience? And then they go through it, and they're like, that was fun. I'm like, it is fun, right? There's a little bit of something for everybody. You can be a kid and just enjoy the magic of the match, or you can get really invested in certain characters. I have a whole part of my closet of just local wrestlers' T-shirts that I've purchased over the years. It's slowly taking over.
How do you find the time for all this? I mean, Zumba has to be, like, much bigger. I mean, compared like bingo versus Zumba, you got to be spending like 5 times as much time on Zumba, 10 times as much time.
But I'm looking in that, like, again, once I get through my last class, like, what do we got going on? Like, is there horse races going on? Oh, there's horse races. There's the street fair. There's bingo. There's a local wrestling show at the Sanctuary.
You just never stop.
I know, and that can sometimes be a lot to handle.
What's that? Well, I know you're married.
Yeah.
how's your wife put up with all that?
She'd be like, I'll be selective of what, I said, you don't have to do everything. That's totally cool.
Because I don't think I've ever seen her dancing with you at Zumba.
She's come a few times.
Okay. But she's incognito. She's not as up.
She's a good balance for me. I like to say a very good balance for me. Because if there was 2 of this, not good. That would be a lot to handle, too much to handle. I'd maybe burn out sooner in terms of maybe it's not Sunday evening, maybe it's Saturday. I'm face planting at 3 in the afternoon because all my energy is spent. But no, a very, very good balance. So I like to again foster a lot of friendships with people I've known for a lot of years, newer people, whoever it is. So a lot of times to do that, hey, let's go to an
real
event.
Social butterfly.
Sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, but you haven't always been that way.
Maybe like early 20s, fresh out of college type thing, was still trying to, like a lot of people waiting for your frontal lobe to fully form and, go through all of that, figuring out who I am, what I want to do. But once that kind of got established, I've tried to be very purposeful.
But it feels like Zumba is filling a very specific niche, right? Like, because that's been the one that's
energy
been
outlet
ongoing.
for sure. Yeah, energy outlet, and it's something that uplifts me every week, right? No matter what's coming up, I know I've got this. I'll get to see certain people. Like some people only like to go to Fargo. Totally fine. Some people only like to go to Schlossman. Totally fine. But it's that moment of getting to share time and space with someone, which I think is important. That's where we have the most impact, because money can do lots of things, but time and space, you can't create more of it, right? I have a finite number of hours every day I'm going to dedicate to being awake. And if I'm sharing that time with you, that means, hey, I value what I'm getting out of this. I hope you're valuing this as well. So that's how I really look at it, is what can I dedicate my time and things that are not tangible to really push things forward.
How did you get introduced to Zumba?
I had a friend, this is a long time ago, that was like, hey, you should come to Zumba class. At the time, I was a little less active, so I wasn't exactly in the state I am now. That's
what I want. And I told you, show goes fast. We got maybe 10 minutes left.
Wow. Guys, go quick. I will try not to tangent anymore. No guarantees.
I want to understand kind of the origin story of the Zumba itself.
Yes.
Because so right now, after your full-time job, I'd say probably the bulk of your time is spent with doing all this Zumba today, right?
Yeah, preparing for that. The next thing.
Between either being in classes or watching videos of it or attending classes or training or practicing. I mean, that's got to be a huge chunk of your time.
Yeah.
What were you doing with all that time before you had Zumba?
Oh gosh, I think it was on World of Warcraft. I think I was a pretty serious. I was in there from like 06 to 10 or 11.
Are you Horde or are you?
I was Horde at the time.
Alliance,
Undead. Yeah,
Horde and Alliance.
Yeah,
right?
good job. Look at that. Yeah,
I play Hearthstone.
Okay.
Do you know
So you know
Hearthstone?
it's card
That's
game.
all I know is the cards, which reference it, but I don't actually know anything about it.
Yeah, I don't know it anymore either, other than if it comes up on my social media algorithm, like, oh, that's what the game's like.
So
now.
you dropped it.
Yeah, I was kind of like, is this weird? One day I was like, I'm done. I wasn't getting like again. It was fulfilling. I think it was eating time, but it wasn't fulfilling me in a way that I was. So yeah, someone said, hey, come check out this class. There's a male instructor. So like, I'm thinking again, just looking at ratios. I am sometimes like when I went to a class on Saturday, I was the only guy in class. And it's like, but it's more.
It is a female dominated, and it is strange, to be a male in that space.
Yeah. Although, which was fantastic about going to the convention, a lot of the people I went to, actually, a lot of male instructors. So it's
Really?
like, oh my gosh, these are me, right? So I saw them, and those are things there. But yeah, it's if you look at the ratio, it's probably heavily skewed.
Well, I mean, do you want to talk maybe a little bit about what it's like? I mean, do you have anything to say about what it's like to be a male in such a female? Because I experienced the same thing, right? I walk in there and I'm the only dude, and I like to dance wild and I'm flying around.
That's what you need
not
to
as
do.
much as you, but I enjoy it. But it is a little awkward. I almost sometimes feel like I'm invading, like it's like
Exactly.
This isn't.
And I think that's how they introduced him. It's like, hey, this is someone there that you're going to recognize, right? If you come in and you see someone that doesn't move like you do, and it's like my body. There are some people, I see them do moves, I'm like,
I can't
my
do
knees
that.
and hips will never be able to do that. Right? We'd have to go back in time, get Derek some better bone structure, and maybe
I
take.
mean, your moves are out of this world.
Oh,
I mean,
thank you.
you fly through the air. That's what I like most about you.
Yeah.
That's what I liked about Zumba myself personally. I have a martial arts background. All
So
through high
kick-
school, I did kickboxing.
Yeah.
So I like jumping. I like
Yeah.
jumping in the air.
I love jumping too.
Your movements have a lot of that. Yeah.
Going from there. Yeah. So, but yeah, it's a very different experience, right? I think across the Y, there's still a good number of male instructors. So that helps
Not
out.
for Zumba though.
Not for Zumba. Yes.
You're the only male Zumba instructor, and then most of the dancers are
Yes.
usually female
Yes.
as well. Like
I would
dancing
say,
is-
yeah, we're looking at like a 90-10 split, and that might be generous on the 10.
Yeah, yeah.
But I always said I want to be encouraging, right? It doesn't matter if you're going to be the only guy in class. Like sometimes if it's the only guy, I'll make sure I talk to him, see how things are going, and just check in. But being open, I think, is.
I'd say overall it's very welcoming.
Yeah, I try that. I want my energy to say, okay, I've never taken a male Zumba class before, but like, okay, this is good. Like I'm hearing music, I'm seeing moves,
And
it's
so
encouraging.
your first experience was taking class from another male.
Yep.
And who was this friend who introduced you to it?
Oh gosh, I can't even remember. It's been so long.
He
ago.
changed your whole life.
Changed my whole life. And I don't remember.
Like your whole.
It's like my whole perspective. I don't know who that is, But
When you strike me as somebody who gets obsessively dedicated to something.
I get obsessively dedicated to almost everything.
But
I
like
do, which
before
is
Zumba, you
World
did it,
of Warcraft and school, I guess.
But you just dropped it like that?
Yeah, well, again, I think I found
Like
this
that's-
a more productive outlet. I was like, I think this is more satisfying to me. This is more.
Zumba scratched the itch better.
Yeah,
Than,
and it also has health benefits, right? I mean, if you look at me today versus when I first started, drastically different. At the time I know I was being more active back then, but then even more recently, like dialing in on diet and stuff like that to really hone in on what how I want to be able to keep performing, right, in this capacity. So. It's just important, right? So I think I found a good outlet. It gets energy out.
Did that first class strike you as like, oh, this is how I'm going to spend? Like, did it immediately take over your
No,
life?
so like the
Like,
first
how
like
did it happen?
month, I was like, I remember I take breaks like every 3 songs,
Yes.
which I still encourage
Yeah.
people to take breaks.
No, and that is the thing too. Until like when you're out of shape, when you're not in Zumba shape and you do it, you're like, this is impossible. How do people do a whole
it
class?
seems like a tall mountain to climb, and you're like, oh my goodness, how do you do this?
Yeah.
But yeah, I would take breaks every three songs, and I would take like a very considerable break. Like I wouldn't take like 4 seconds to go
Yeah,
grab water.
yeah,
I
yeah.
would be like, okay, I'm just gonna
You
take the
have to,
next
yeah.
2 verses off. I'll come back, as the next song wraps up. But I liked is the music, the moves were, again, they were big moves, they were athletic moves, they're things that I'm like, I think I can't do them now, but I can see myself doing those. I can see myself doing, again, great energy. It was loud, vibrant, felt like it's kind of like very positive. And I'm like, I want to recreate this. How do I recreate this? What do I need to do to get myself there, both physically, mentally, emotionally, all of that? What does it take to invest in yourself to get there? And it took time, right? Like I said, I'm still on that journey. I don't think I will ever say I've mastered it. I can just drop in at any time and it'll be amazing. I don't have to put any work in. No, that'll never be the case. I always want to say, what can I do better? What can I do better from cueing, music selection, just arranging the class, right? Like, do you have the peaks, valleys, stuff like that for your heart rate, your exertion, stuff like that. There's just so much to learn. And I love learning, right? I've never given up on loving learning from school age to teaching to teaching Zumba, whatever it is. Love learning. Love finding out just weird facts that might elude certain people or just things that excite my mind. That's what I'm looking for.
So you start out, obviously you're not in Zumba shape. A couple of years later, you're into it. You're doing it every single day. You're doing it those 4 times a week. Like, you've just been, for the last 11 years, 4 times a week. How is it you said to yourself, I got to be an instructor? Just because you were already there? I
was already there. I was feeling like, and I had some encouragement from the instructors at the time that were there. They're like, hey, this is something you should consider. Like, this is, you seem to have similar energy.
Did you have any reservations, or you were just like, let's go?
Oh, the first day, yes. Because I was like, oh gosh, imposter syndrome. Can I do this? Like, it sounds good when you come up and do 1 or 2 songs because you're like, okay, we have to multiply that by like 8 or 9 times.
You got to do a whole class.
And
you can't take a break. You can't be like,
I know,
all right,
you
guys.
can't be like, all right, let's give me 30, right?
Everybody, I'm going to skip the next song. You guys.
I will say, I think what helped me out very early on is I am terrible at tying my shoes. So you might know this. I would take tying my shoe breaks all the time because I apparently can't. Sorry, Mom, you taught me how to tie my shoes, so this is on you for not teaching me how to do this. But in recent years, Velcro on my athletic shoes has been very, very impactful. But that was the way I'd buy myself a little breather. I was like, oh, my left shoe's untied. I need to tie this before the next song starts. Velcro came along. I really love it. New shoes, just started using them last week. They don't have Velcro, so I'm a little sad. They have some new technology to tuck the lace in, so it's supposed to protect it from untying. Someone says, Derek, double tie the dang knot. And I'm like, I don't want to, so I don't.
Getting the shoe just right is like part of the journey too. It wasn't until, because I've been doing Zumba now maybe 10 years, and it wasn't until 5 years in I got the right shoe. That was a whole journey too, right? You wear what do you wear?
I do Nike Metcons.
Yeah.
And I've had those now for 7, 8 years or generations. I think I had one I doubled up, so probably the last 9 years. But for a while I was using other shoes, and I remember I'd like, the side of my feet are very sore after because, there's not enough support on the outer edges of your feet. So when you would do like a side-to-side movement, you'd be putting more pressure on your body. It wouldn't be absorbed by the shoe. But now that I'm on that, I go there. The problem I'm at now with the shoes, though, is I've been the last couple of years been doing bold color formation. So I started off with this, it was supposed to be gold, but then they said it was like bronze. It was more like a mustard yellow.
Yeah.
Then I got a proper gold shoe. Now I have my neon greens. So I can't go back to like just a basic black shoe at that point. You know what I mean? Like if the last 3 years you've seen me wearing some out there color. So I think like I was like crowdsourcing. What shoe should I get? Like, look at this. And you can custom design yours, but I don't want to get to that level where I'm like, all right.
They make custom design Metcons?
You can custom design through Nike's website. You can,
but you can't get them in wide. So I couldn't do the Metcons. I ended up whatever the Adidas version of that is where I ended up having to land because it's the only thing wide enough for my foot.
Yeah.
Like it's a whole Zumba is an amazing thing. It's a great way, and you make so many friendships, right?
Yeah,
so like,
absolutely.
You must
people
be very
connect
good friends with all the instructors and all.
Yeah, I like sharing moments. Like when I went to the Zumba convention with 2 other instructors, and they kind of encouraged me, like, "Hey, Derek, you'll have fun on this. You'll do that." And it was a fantastic experience because you know at least somebody, right? So it's not you're just out in the wild by yourself. But yeah, you get to know them. They had to deal with me in Disney World, which is a very different animal. But they survived that. So then on the flip side, they helped me walk me through the Zumba convention aspect of it.
As an instructor as well, you're almost like a micro celebrity. No? Do people Do people like reach out to you while you're walking around? Hey, Derek!
Are you
like
that
everybody
guy?
knows you, right?
Well, I don't know if everybody does, but there's been times because I do the same thing. Like when I go to a concert, like I'm into it. Like if there's a song grooving, when Jason Derulo's at the Red River Valley Fair, I was dancing to it like the whole time. So someone say, who was that guy standing up the whole concert? It was me. So, that's why I might get noticed as the one erratically dancing either in a class format or just at a concert around the area, whatever it might be.
Well, no, I mean, really, though, do people reach out to you to try to form friendships because you're the instructor so they feel they kind of know you? Because you're in a room with like 20 people.
Yeah.
Like, do you end up making social connections with
Absolutely.
pretty much every one of them?
I like having social connections with you because if you just come in and I go, hi, I'm Derek, I teach Zumba, here we go, boom. And then at the end of class, hey, thanks for coming, bye-bye. I haven't done my job, right? I want to get to know the people in my class. I want to get to know, hey, what's your interest? What's your hobbies? What do you do? Like, what's your day to day? Kind of like what you're doing right now with me, right? Get to know them, and I think that helps figure out, okay, where are you on the journey of life? Like, do our paths cross? Do we have some things, opportunities to share in that space? I convinced a few people last night. I'm like, guys, you should watch the newest season of Married at First Sight on Peacock. It's fantastic. I want to see your reactions to how these people are behaving on camera. And they're like, I'll do that. I'm like, thank you. Now we have something to talk about next week. We'll talk about what's going on in this. So, but like you kind of learn a bit about people. Go, oh, you're interested in that too. That's really cool. Let's talk about it. Let's share that experience, share that time and space together. So it does. It's a great avenue to get to know people. And then they get to know it's like, oh, this isn't Derek turning a switch on as soon as class starts and then turning it off. It's like, oh, no, he's like that most of the day. It's not something that I just take off at the end of the day and go, all right, now back to just, slump down, low energy, stuff like that.
Well, we've got 2 minutes. We got to get out of here. So the last thing we're going to do is, if people do want to find you, you should plug yourself. If they want to
plug myself,
get to know who you are, or when are your next classes? What classes do you have coming up?
I teach every Wednesday and Thursday at the YMCA. Wednesdays at Schlossman Facilities at 6:35. Every Thursday night, 6:30, downtown at Fargo. Here, that's when I teach. But again, if you come to any Zumba class, there's like a very high chance you're going to see me in there. I'm usually in the corner to the left, making a lot of noise. So that'll be usually your telltale sign that I'm there. And then actually tonight, I think I mentioned we're doing our Dance United event, a partnership with United Way and a few of the other area gyms. So we're over in West Fargo at the POW MII Plaza doing an event there. So I'll be doing a half-hour set with some other YMCA instructors. Looking forward to that. Zumba Fitness with Derek on Facebook. I like to say I must have got in early enough. I didn't have to add an initial after my name. So there's only one Zumba Fitness with Derek, and it's me. But if you come in later, there's probably like a
How do you spell Derek? Yeah, there's probably
Derek, the correct and only spelling of Derek.
There's probably like 8 other Zumba Fitnesses with Derek,
but they may be
all the wrong,
double R's, an
spelling.
I in there. It offends me. That's okay. Other Dereks, it's okay. Derek is the correct spelling. But yes, Derek, Zumba Fitness.
And of course, I'm Conrad Fargo. You can find me anywhere you type Conrad and Fargo. You put those 2 words together in any digital device. You'll find me some way, somehow. Like, share, subscribe, do all the things. Derek, thanks for coming on. It was good to see you. It's been a while. We didn't even get into my plantar fasciitis. I haven't been able to be in a Zumba class in like a year. Anyway.
Next time.
I'll be back. Next time.
Round 4.
We're going to listen. You wanted to listen to some Go the Distance.
One of the top tier songs from a Disney movie. So we can debate that, but this is a great song. There's a reason it's featured in Happily Ever After Disney World Nighttime Show.
So we're going to listen to that. Thank you so much for coming, Derek. Thank you, everybody, for listening. We'll see you all next week. Goodbye.